Hello everyone and welcome to the Complete Sports Update. This is the show where the latest and trending stories in the world of sports are brought to you. My name is Abi Uranga. Joining me on today's episode is James Agrevi. Together we shall be taking you through the rounds as far as sporting stories in today's episode is concerned. Welcome to the show, James, and how are you doing today?
Thank you very much, Abi. It's a pleasure being on today's edition.
Absolutely. The Super Falcons of Nigeria started their 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations on a very impressive note following their 3-0 victory over Tunisia. With Botswana coming up next, the Falcons will be looking to book their place into the quarterfinals of the competitions. And right here on Complete Sports Update, we shall review the victory over the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia, as well as previewing the match against that will be coming up against the Mares of Botswana later on Thursday. So, James, welcome back to the show once more.
Thank you.
The Super Falcons rather of Nigeria actually defeated Tunisia in the opening match of the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations with Rinsola Rinsola Babajide as well as Chiwendu Ihezuo, on the score sheet. So, what do you have to say about the Super Falcons' blistering start to the WAFCON campaign?
It's a good beginning for the Super Falcons. The most important thing in every major tournament is to, take off with the winning, get the perfect start, which they did against Tunisia. It should have been more than that 3 goals, but they were so with in front of goal. But the most important thing is at least they took off on a positive note.
Yeah.
So I believe in the coaching crew. They have seen 1 or 2 areas that need to be touched for their next game against Botswana on Thursday. We saw that before the start of the second half, the coach had to take out the Rinsola Babajide and Deborah Abiodun, and brought on Ihezuo, brought on Esther Okoronkwo and Ashley Prompter. So that really kind of rejiggled the team and brought in, especially in the attack. That it kind of gave them more push in the attack, and we saw what happened. But they were just too wasteful. Against a very solid side. I think they will find all the opportunities, especially when you come up with the likes of the South Africans, the Moroccans. These are a very solid side. So for me, like I said, it's a good one. They would have done 1 or 2 things, and let's just hope that in the next game against Botswana, all those lapses would have been corrected, so that get the 3 points and move on to the next stage.
So you talked something about their performance and if they should replicate this kind of performance against their fellow powerhouses in terms of South Africa, Morocco and the like. So do you think with this kind of performance they don't really stand a chance to actually go all the way to win this competition?
Yeah, because it's in Tunisia, and that's the second time the Super Falcons will meet Tunisia at the AFCON. The first time was 2008, ended in a draw. So they didn't really come out to test the Falcons. They were just sitting back and trying to hit them on the counter. They were just focused on not conceding much. So that didn't really, I feel that didn't really, you can't use that to judge the team. So it's when they come up against solid side like I mentioned, South Africa, Zambia, Morocco, all those teams will really test them. So if you want to use the performance against Tunisia, I don't think that one is enough to use to judge them to. But like I said, it's a good step. You take care of what is in front of you, which they did against Tunisia. And like I said, I believe the coaching crew would have seen a lot of lapses and work on it. And I believe that they will build on. They will grow into the tournament. So important thing, you get the 3 points in your first game. That one's out of the way, and look forward to the next game.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Rinsola Babajide, the lady right there. Tunisia actually made a WAFCON debut against Tunisia, and what a way to actually mark your debut with a goal and assist. Yeah. With this sort of performance, do you think she's actually a player that should be really counted upon as regards to the Super Falcons' quest in going all the way to win their 10th WAFCON title?
Yeah, the good thing is she didn't allow the stage to get to her. There are many players who in their first outing they would have been G3, stage fright and the rest, but she marked her debut at the WAFCON with goal and assist. But I was surprised that the coach decided to take her off before the start of the second half. I believe he should have been allowed to continue so that get very deep into the team, but he has his reasons why he decided to take out. Of course, he was just all over the Tunisians in the game, in the first game. I mean, beautiful set piece play for Rinsola for the opener, and look at that goal, the way she drove in and just hit the shot. And I think she brings something different into the team. I don't think we have that player who is very, very direct. And even she should have had a true assist. The goal that the prompter scored was chopped off. I don't understand what happened.
That was actually shocking.
That was because she has every right to go for the ball. As a goalkeeper, you have to be strong in that situation. But prompter was the stronger one. She scored, and I'm surprised that the VAR didn't check it and they chopped it off. So for me, I think she's a good addition to the team. Let's just hope that she will build on her performance in subsequent games.
Yes, absolutely. Rinsola Babajide, just like what James said, will be a very, very vital part as far as the Super Falcons quest in winning their 10th WAFCON title is concerned. So let's talk about the game on Thursday against Botswana. Yes, this is going to be the second time Nigeria will actually be playing the Mirrors of Botswana as far as the women's football in the continent is concerned. And the first one was actually the last WAFCON in 2022, where the Falcons won 2-0 with former Onumonu as well as Christy Uchebe on the score sheet. So now the second time they'll be meeting. Do you think it's going to be like a stroll in the park, considering the fact that this is going to be just the second edition that Botswana will be participating in as far as the women's AFCON is concerned?
Botswana, they've played against the Falcons for just like what you said. Last edition, they lost 2-0, in their debut. So I believe they would have learned, and they qualified again for this tournament, which means they are growing. So I expect the Super Falcons to be wary, against such an opponent. The last game they played against Nigeria, it was a very hard fought tie, which fortunately they lost 1-0, which means they did something in that game. So I don't want to expect the Super Falcons to drop their guards. They just have to take care of business and seal qualification, so that when you go into your next game, the coach will have the opportunity to try out different players, let other players feel the competition, so that if maybe something happens, God forbid, maybe injury or something, at least they know that they've played before. So coming onto the pitch will be something like a stage fright or whatever. So I expect them to do whatever it takes to just see the victory, get the victory, and seal your qualification. Because like I said, it's not going to be easy against Botswana. They will come all out because it's a win or bust for them now. They just have to do it the hard way, and unfortunately for them, they're going to do it against the Super Falcons, who want to seal qualification and get to the next stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you spoke highly of the Super Falcons as well as the Mirrors of Botswana. So now we are back to the prediction mode. So what is the prediction as far as this encounter is concerned?
Yeah, I will go for Super Falcons 2-0 victory.
2-0 victory. 2-0 victory, viewers. That's the prediction of James right there. And thank you very much, James, for the wonderful and insightful analysis as always on Complete Sports Updates. Yes, definitely we wish the Super Falcons the very best as far as their quest in winning this title is concerned. So, viewers, this is where we're wrapping things up as far as proceedings in today's episode is concerned. Do take care of yourselves and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.